What should a construction proposal include? In this video, we're going to talk about not only the things that a construction proposal should include, but also the process and how you can tie into it. So how do you approach the vision? How can you really nail this? And what is the process for creating it? And where do you fit in? These are all things that we're going to cover in this topic, so saddle up. All right, so let me just come right out of the gate and say I've got a lot of experience with doing proposals and a lot of experience with doing interviews. I've been taught by professional coaches. I've been with teams as they were being prepared. Like I've done this over and over and over and seen some of the best with some really, really big contractors, and I just love it. So I can't wait to share this with you. If you're a project manager, a superintendent, or anybody really, you're probably thinking, hey, how do I tie into this process? How can it be less scary? I'm going to give you those tips right now. Number one, it's going to be the connection with the team or the interview panel, whoever you're proposing to or interviewing in front of. It's going to be the team, your team dynamic, and how you connect that becomes most important. Number two, it's responding to what they've asked. I've literally seen, and this is a bad example, of an RFP or an RFQ requesting or request for proposal or request for qualifications, literally asking certain questions, and the project team gives some boilerplate thing that doesn't address them one by one. It doesn't work. I've never seen anybody win that way. I got so frustrated about it after a while that I insisted that the RFP or RFQ question go right into the actual written proposal or the interview slide so that they knew where they were and you're answering their questions. Number three, make sure you show representative experience. If you're like, hey, we can build a $150 million laboratory, that's a lot different than saying, here are three $150 million laboratories that we've built, and here are the metrics with raving fan clients and referrals, right? As long as they have a good marketing department come in and fancy up this beautiful proposal and misrepresent, but very few can actually say, here's some real data, here's some real experience. Number four, I want you to remember, it all comes back to that hero's journey story brand model where your client, the one that you're attempting to propose for and win the job from or with, is the hero, and they have a problem, and you are the guide, and you have a solution, and you're going to help that hero accomplish what he or she wants, right? You have to understand that it's not you as the company that is the hero, it is your client that is the hero, and they can be the hero. They're great at being the hero. They need a guide that will help them with a second set of eyes to accomplish their goals. So do not talk most of the time about how you're so great. Always talk about how they're so great and what is in it for them. And so this is probably a good point to talk about the details. Let's go through these one by one. A construction proposal is a formal document submitted by a construction company outlining the scope of work, the project details, timelines, costs, and terms and conditions for the construction project, and they're doing so for the purpose of actually being awarded that project. Each proposal should have a cover page, an introduction, typically by someone who is in connection with the client, somebody of importance, an executive summary, the scope of work that's being proposed on, the project details and showcasing that there's an understanding of the project details, a timeline or schedule, which is crucial. You want to make sure that the client that you're proposing to understands your overall schedule and timeline for proposing on the project, and I would say any problems that you see throughout where you as the guide for your hero can really help them to achieve their end goal and hit their milestone. Most of these clients know, hey, there's a high likelihood that this contractor is not going to finish on time, and they're stressed about it, and they don't believe most of the people proposing. If you can actually show a realistic plan, actually show how you're going to meet the deadline, actually show how you're going to do this differently, this could be huge. 7, cost estimate. You'll obviously need to have your budget proposal if that is required. I do want to give a warning to the industry though. When you focus so much on cost instead of qualifications, you tend to get the lowest budget, which does not end up being the lowest cost overall, because when you're really trying to squeeze that price down, what you're doing is saying, I want the contractor that will spend the least amount of time on my project, and that's not good. If you're asked for it in the RFP and the RFQ, go ahead and respond to it. I, if it was me, would be very specific to that owner and client. Hey, this is exactly what our price is, and if you think there's going to be another contractor that's going to undercut you, that's going to be low bid, that's going to change order that client to death, and you feel like that's going to make you uncompetitive, I want you to talk about that part of the story. Talk about, hey, this is where my price is. And you can even say, our competitors are going to probably leave out these things. You'll probably see a number like this. They're literally going to change order you to death, right? Tell that story in the variance. Don't let yourself get undercut with a low bid. Sometimes these proposals also include payment terms and conditions. I'm hoping that it includes qualifications and experience so that we spend less time on the cost portion of it. If that is the case, this is where you really want to spend some time and showcase that team, showcase connection to that team, maybe even put in there a video, right? And showcase representative experience so that they know you're the sure thing. At the end of the day, studies have shown that people typically don't make buying decisions based on what they perceive as value, but they will fail to make buying decisions based on perceived risk, right? So you've all heard about oh, hey, I went and bought this, and the spouse says, and this could be male or female, but the spouse says, why'd you buy that? Oh, well, it was a limited time offer. It was 50% off. If I didn't buy it, I would lose 50%. What? Like, we didn't need it. Why did you buy it, right? People make emotional decisions and justify it with logic. And most of the emotional decisions come from fear. So in your proposal, you have got to understand you're in a process of elimination. So if there's a risk or a disconnection or a problem or a doubt in your proposal or your interview, you are going to be selected out. So you have to make sure that you have a solid plan, that you are addressing any concerns or fears right out of the gate, that you provide solutions, and that you provide context. Always answer the questions that you know they are thinking or asking, even if it's not explicitly written on the proposal request or qualifications request, okay? So that's what we have to remember. So as you do this, I want you to know that there's a key way that you can tie in. So let me take you through the steps of preparing a proposal. Number one, you receive the RFQ or the RFP. That's the request for qualifications or the request for proposal. Once you have that, the ball is in your court. Number two, marketing must be notified immediately so that we can rally the team. Number three, we will appoint a lead, somebody who can coordinate this effort. And number four, we will set a kickoff meeting as soon as possible to get the entire proposal team rallied together. 5, and this is key, you have got to establish the vision. So the lead with the team in that kickoff, unless there's already like a baked vision for some reason, but has got to understand the vision. Like, what is the message that we're going to explain? What is the one thing we're going to say? What are we going to all coalesce around so it doesn't seem like a bunch of disconnected items and one big disconnected mess? What is the vision for this proposal? Establish that early on with the point, and that will anchor everybody who's going to help with the proposal. 6, according to that vision, create an outline. If it's a proposal with pages, or if it's questions to be answered, or it's sections, or even if it's an interview later on and it's slides. Make sure that, hey, here's the vision, here's the outline, here's the flow, here's how we're going to follow that hero's journey, and this is where everybody ties in, and you're helping with this proposal. Make sure you know the key places where you're going to tie in, and please make sure you know what deliverables you're in charge of. 7, send out all of your requests for any schedules, backdrops, logistics plan backgrounds, zone map backgrounds, or 3D models early to your VDC group or to your VDC department so that you can start to draw on those backdrops, finalize those visuals, and put those in the proposal. 8, do the work, but do the work and start your planning. Dig in. Go into that macro level TAC plan and really flesh out that overall timeline. Really dig into the logistics and go through and like map out a solid plan and really find those key considerations. Look at your zoning and see what you can do with your overall duration. Go see a vision for the 3D model. What can we show in either a model or a 4D schedule that will really wow the client? But here's my advice. Do it with intent. Go find out what are the biggest problems that client is worried about, showcase what you're going to do about it, provide option A, B, C, or D, and make sure you show that on the proposal. I don't care. Nobody cares if there's just a schedule or just a logistics plan. We only care if it shows 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. These are the biggest problem. Number 1, number 2, number 3. This is how we're going to help you with it. We got your back. This is how we're going to bring in this surety. And then number 9, make sure that you're looping all this in, bringing it into the overall proposal together, integrate with the team, and practice the delivery and make sure that there's flow. If you do that, you'll be able to go ahead and deliver that proposal, or go ahead and perform, or I would say present that interview or in front of that selection committee and really, really win. So this process will help you to make sure you have those key components. But remember, it's all about connection, answering their responses, showcasing your experience, and following the hero's journey. So you've got to dig deep and find the things they're worried about. It's just like with these videos. Like, we do not just come up with titles. We literally search on Google and on YouTube and in other locations with apps, what are people asking? And the titles, they come exactly from what are people searching the most? And then we think, well, what is the concern? What are they asking? So we attempt to get into the mind of the viewer of this YouTube channel. And so that's why we always say we love when you like and subscribe and comment below, because we're always attempting to connect with you where you're at. It doesn't matter what I want on these YouTube videos. It matters what you want. And if you want to prepare for a great proposal, you'll follow that same outline. And so in the description below, I'm going to leave you with a blog post summary and with some really cool graphics showing the outline that you can follow when preparing your proposal. I hope you've enjoyed this video. On we go.